Hello everyone. So today we are starting the Dwarven Commoner origin story. This will be the last origin story that we go through, since our main playthrough is the mage. You'll be able to learn everything about the mage by going through that. I might consider redoing the mage one after we've finished the entire full game playthrough, but we'll see. So yeah, Dwarven Commoner, we've already done Dwarven Noble, so we've been introduced to Orzammar, but the Dwarven Commoner, the only part in common with the Noble side is the Proving Grounds. Outside of that, all the areas that we're visiting are different areas of Orzammar. There's still areas that you'll be able to visit later in the game though, regardless of which character you start the game as. So that's something to keep in mind. And we're playing as Rogue Archer this time around, and I made sure to give them a
Deep beneath the
lockpicking.
Frostback Mountains sits Orzammar, largest and proudest of the two remaining Dwarven cities. Once the seat of an underground empire, Orzammar now stands alone, cut off from the world by the Darkspawn, still clinging to the memory of its former glory. Below the vast statues and gilded halls where the noble families play at politics, the lower castes live in their shadows, scurrying to serve like their ancestors before them. Below that is you. You are casteless, the dirty secret staining Orzammar's perfect society, forced, along with your sister, to sell your services to the crime lord Barat. To the rest of Orzammar, you are proof that the casteless deserve their fate. But you know you do what you have to, the same as everyone, just to survive.
I can't keep gambling on you forever, Precious. You've got a sweet look, something to light a man on fire. But you gotta make it count.
Please, Barat. I don't want to do this in front of my sister.
Why not? She knows the slope of the land, don't you, girl?
Okay, so like was mentioned in the starting dialogue there, we're living in the Commons. We're both casteless. Myself and my sister, our entire family is casteless. Barat, I'm not 100% sure if he's casteless or not. I believe he is, but he is also running like basically a syndicate on this side of the city, and because of that he has a lot more power than someone who is casteless typically does. So he's more akin to groups like the Carta. Didn't I tell you not to talk that way to my sister?
You told me a lot of things, not one of which meant more than a fart in the middens. Before me, your sister was just another duster. Now check her out. Braids down to here, gold-capped teeth. She can recite elf poetry and play the string harp. Every man's dream. All she's gotta do is find a lord or squeeze out some kid who looks like him, and we're all living the easy life in the Diamond Quarter.
Please, don't get involved. You know that never goes well.
I don't like seeing him treating you this way.
I'll treat her however I like, as long as you both eat off my plate. You keep your head down and say aye to any job I decide is low enough for scum like you. In return, I put out coins so you can doll yourself up and get a belly full of some nobleman's brat. Then you both go free, and I get to join the family and be called my lord for the rest of the little prince's life.
So what are you doing here?
Checking on my investments, and right now, they don't bear much gold. I'm giving you another week, Precious. If you haven't found a patron, you're back to sweeping streets.
But I have. I've met someone. That is, I didn't want to promise, but he seemed interested.
So get off her back and tell me my job for the day.
Your buddy Lesky's waiting outside. He knows what I'll need from you today. Don't even think about bungling this job. Your whole family's on loose sand with me right now. And I know you don't have anywhere else to turn.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
So he knows that we don't have anywhere else to turn, but that's why he gets goons from people within the castless area of the city, because most of them have nowhere else to turn unless they plan on going to the surface, and most dwarves refuse to do that, even if it is something that they could potentially do without anyone blinking twice. Mainly because of the stigma towards people who were dwarves who have gone to the surface. They don't consider them to be real dwarves anymore. So, I've seen it before, I'll see it again.
And I feel like every time you do, it kills something in you. You were such a loving child. I hate what this place made you into. That's why I didn't tell you. Barat's been warning me ever since 2 of his other girls found patrons at Lord Harrowmont's reception. They've been getting gifts already. Lord Rooston gave Elsie a surface silk gown and she's not even pregnant. Barat's getting impatient.
I just wish we didn't have to kiss up to that cave tick.
You know the other options. Cleaning middens, begging, going to the surface. No. Unless you find a way to save us all from Darkspawn and become a paragon. We're pretty much on Barat's leash for life.
So once again, going to the surface isn't actually all that bad, as we've already seen from some of the other playthroughs, and the fact that, well, I guess you don't get to see it as much in this game, but in the next game, there's other dwarven characters that live on the surface, and you get to see a much better example of what it's like to be a surface dwarf, and it's really nowhere near as bad as being castless inside the city of Orzammar. So they just have a bad stigma for no real reason. I don't know why I can't join the army and fight Darkspawn.
It's sheer folly. One more way the nobles protect their status. They say casteless soldiers are more danger to each other than to Darkspawn. That it's an insult to the smith to let us touch a fine-made weapon. Truly, they just don't wish to insult the warrior caste by showing that given the same opportunities, we could lead an army just as well.
But haven't the Darkspawn almost overrun the current troops?
Every year, more of the beasts come up from the deep roads. I've heard they've even been harrying the surface.
Is anyone going to do anything about it?
Aye. They would even turn to humans for aid before us, it seems. There's been talk of an alliance against the Darkspawn. Even that the Grey Wardens have stepped up. But we don't have time for this now. Lesky must be waiting, and Barat won't like it if I'm late for my appointment.
Barat expects too much from you.
You know how desperate the nobles are for more children? They can barely field enough soldiers to hold the walls against the Darkspawn. If I could give one of them a son, the whole house would celebrate, and we'd all be raised up to noble caste to join the family. It's what Barat's betting on. That's why he paid for my clothes, my voice lessons. He wants to share the reward.
Yes, extortion. No better way to put it. And he's been doing that for a while, and he's not changing his position. He's just basically helping, using his finances that he's gotten through ill means, in order to help other people to raise themselves out of casteless society, so that he can leech more money off of them. And yeah, it's a not very good system. I mean, it's good for him, lucrative, but not good for the people he hires. Yeah, let's just get out of here. I need to be going before Barat comes back. Bye.
Stay out of trouble. I'll see you tonight.
Okay, so there's not really anyone in the castless area that has a better situation than what we've seen here.
Lovely.
Why is this not
Well,
opening?
all right.
That was weird. Okay. For whatever reason, that chest was not opening. Now we can talk to the sister again, but it just repeats a lot of the same stuff that we've already gone through. There's poison over there. Now, I do want to be using a
Who's
bow.
that? Why are you bothering me? Rika?
No, Mother, it's Nadia, your daughter.
Don't you talk to me like I'm an idiot. You think I don't know my own kid? What are you doing here anyway? Rika said you were finally making something useful of yourself.
Doesn't it bother you that Rika has to whore herself out?
She's got the body. Might as well use it before a couple of kids twist it out of shape.
I can't believe you.
You're lucky Rika stuck up for you, because I'd have put you out there with her. You were born with one coin to barter, and it's between your legs.
You're wrong. I'm gonna make something of my life.
You can try, but you'll never get it off you. Dust Town, it sticks to the skin. You don't bleed red enough for them, and nothing's gonna change that. All you can do is find some way to forget.
Okay, and so that's an example of stealing. And a lot of the people in this area don't have anything to steal. But that's something you can find in general. It just makes more sense in this area because we're living with a bunch of people who are basically living in garbage heaps for the most part. There's a few people who are lucky enough to have a house like we do, and most of the people like that
About
are
sodding time.
employed for
I
Barat.
was starting to think I'd have to bust in and get an eyeful of that spicy sister of yours. Growl.
Lesk, how is it shaping?
Oh, what can I say? No money, no girls, no place to call my own. I've been writing an epic poem about it. It starts, "Oh, you're really, really cursed to have no caste. You noble dwarves can shove it up your..." But I couldn't think of a rhyme.
I bet you can all think of a rhyme for that. Yeah, we could tease them. Let's do that. Cast Vast Blast.
I'm not seeing Court Bard in your future either. I guess we'll have to stick to playing the heavies for Barat.
What's he got for us today?
Boss says we're out for a search and discipline. One of his smugglers is holding out on him. Name's Oscaris, some surfacer. Barat got word that he's been selling shipments topside that never make it to Barat's ears down here. He wants us to find the rotter and see what goods he's holding back.
Any idea where Oscaris is?
All he told me is find him. Duster's got some family from the merchant caste. He's probably staying near their quarters.
What sort of goods are we trying to find?
You know, gold, lyrium, spices. Anything that Barat might cut someone's head off to get.
What do we do with him if he's been holding out on Barat?
Well, if he is skimming, we kill him, of course. I mean, Barat doesn't let anyone swindle him and live. Bringing his head on a plate is completely optional, though.
So that's probably true. We don't think it's right to just kill the guy, but we've already been doing this for a while. Like, we've spent a good portion of our lives doing this, so we're used to it by now. I'm gonna go with let's show this duster what Barat does to cheaters.
Poetry to my ears, Selraka.
There we go. So Lesk has joined our party. When you are playing the game, later in the game, you do end up coming back to this exact same area, and Barat's no longer around by the time you come back, but there is someone who's taken up his position as the head of the Carta sect that is leading this area and employing all these people. So you do end up finding Lesk again. Now, when you find him, he's in a dungeon cell, and there's another cage. Now, if you did not play the Dwarven Commoner, there's a body in the other cage, just laying there rotting. And Lesk is in the other cage. So that's what happens if you do not play the Dwarven Commoner. Because you basically lost all hope and you refused to eat anymore, so you just laid there and wasted away. Lesk still eats though, so you're able to free him from the prison cell when you go there as a non-Dwarven Commoner character. However, if you are the Dwarven Commoner, when you go back to that area, Lesk is not in the cell because you both escaped. So if you both ended up escaping, you'll end up finding Lesk employed by the people that you're both currently employed to now. So, but instead of Barat being at the head of it, it's someone else. So essentially, Lesk is working for the person that you are hired to go and wipe out. So it becomes like a a friend versus friend confrontation in a sense. So let's rob the poor. Oh, he actually had something. He had a health poultice. So he had some medicine and we took his medicine. How kind are we?
Hey, gorgeous. You looking for something to keep you warm tonight? I can work. Anything you want. My back's so strong.
Gwalinar.
2 bits for the needy.
The needy? Who do you think you're looking at, old man?
I seen you before. You're one of Barat's girls, the one with the sword. You don't know from needy. Not until you're my age.
Well, what happened to you?
I used to work in the mines, checking the new tunnels for bad air. Set me down with a candle, and there must have been a pocket of gas, because it went up like dragon's breath. Healer saved my life, but I can't half walk. What's a man supposed to do?
I'm sorry.
Sorry fills more bellies when it comes with coin.
Is there anything you can give me for my money?
Ooh, you drive a hard bargain, soldier. You looking for someone to shine your shoes, clean your pots, keep you warm at night?
Just tell me, have you seen the surfacer named Oscaris?
Is that what you're looking for? That's worth 10 bits, no?
Forget it, if you can't find him, I can dig him up myself.
You think I got nothing for you, but you'll see. This'll be you someday. Soon as you start to wrinkle up and Barat's got no use for you. Don't think you got anywhere to go but here.
So he's actually fully correct on that, and his situation's made him grow old and bitter, but you can kind of understand where he's coming from. He was employed for similar people to Barat, by similar people to Barat, mining lyrium, and yeah, things didn't go great for him. Actually, I
Spare
kind of want to
Silver.
talk with that
My boy
guard.
needs medicine. The doctor
Show you what
wake
the
me
guard
up.
interactions are like. Where'd he go? There he is.
Stand back! I don't want to catch your diseases.
So that's a good example before you leave this area of how people who don't belong to the castless treat you. Now, there's only one guard there at the moment. Well, as soon as we leave this area, you'll see there's a lot more. So we're going to the merchant quarter now. The merchant quarter was blocked off when we were a dwarven noble, so we weren't able to actually come here. Later in the game, regardless of who you play, you'll be able to come back to this area. Maybe I'll open up some of these codices that I've unlocked. So if you are interested in reading any of them, you can go ahead. There's one for the castless and one for Orzammar that I went through. I think that's all the important ones. Yeah. We can go over the notes, I suppose. No, actually, never mind. That's just the not important stuff. Okay. So here's another guard
Shouting
interaction.
castless breed like rats. Shouting castless breed like rats.
Sometimes they say different things if you talk to them twice. Now let's talk with this guy, Cash.
Good day there, sweetness. You looking to make a quick bit? You could be just what I'm after.
I'm no man's whore.
And I'd not be welcomed by my wife if she thought I fancied castless flesh. I've got a different offer. You look like you've still got all your teeth. Nice and healthy. I craft replacements for nobles who have lost theirs. I can pay you real handsome for some of those. 1 silver for 2. What do you say?
That's crazy. I'm not gonna sell you my teeth.
You won't get a better price. I'm in demand. Top tooth and wig shop off the Diamond Quarter, 4 years running. There are some who just take what they want off someone like you. I'm offering an honest deal. What do you say?
Don't you have any legitimate work for me?
No work's legitimate if they let you do it, sweetness. The Assembly declared back in Darbier's reign that it insults the ancestors for castless to perform any work the recognized lineages can do. Now, do you want it or not? 1.5 silvers, and that's my best offer.
So that gives you a little bit of an idea that the way the castless are currently was not always how people in castless were treated. But that guy named Darbier, he was one of the kings of the past. He helped to initiate a law that basically made it so that castless are not allowed to do any kind of work because it brings dishonor to everyone else. So, good job, Darbier. Now, later in the game, when you get to choose between the kings, if you choose Balin, Balin is seeking to reform that law and change a few things so that castless can be a little bit more accepted and trade with the surface is more accepted. It does a lot more for surface dwarves than it does for castless with Balin, but he does have the more liberal policies of the two potential kings. Even though he is much more of a scumbag. If you played the Dwarven Noble origin, you know all about that. Alright, never mind, I was just leaving.
Suit yourself. Plenty of brands are willing.
And let's steal from this guy.
As you desire.
There we go, he had something. Yay.
Have you heard? King's got a team who found traces of Bronca in the deep roads.
Oh? Found her body, did they?
No, tools. Signs of camp, things like that.
Paragon or not, Bronca's dead. She's been gone 2 years. No one survives the deeps that long.
So if you remember when we were doing the a Dwarven noble origin, there was people talking about Branka there as well. But they said something different. So rather than talking about like someone finding evidence of Branka in the Deep Roads, people were talking about just how Branka disappeared and how the merchant they were trying to buy from was claiming that his gear was like Paragon worthy, and it brought bad taste or bad dishonor. It brought dishonor to Paragons like Branka. So let's go talk with this person, Olinda.
Lesky, you old scamp. What are you doing here? Trying to charm me out of another set of ribbons for your girl?
Trying to talk you into being my girl, Olinda. You know my heart's breaking for you.
Don't you go saying that around my husband. Who's your friend?
I'm Nadia. Pleased to meet you.
You're welcome to look around. I'll slide on the markup since you're Lesky's friend, but I can't give anything away for free.
So most merchants would not be caught dead selling anything to a castless. But because we know someone who knows someone, and the fact that we're working for Barat, it gives us certain privileges that most castless don't get. So that's part of why a lot of people work for Barat, and they don't feel like they have any other choice. And Barat knows full well that that's the case. So as soon as they've used up their usefulness, he gets rid of them. So I'll take a look.
Just don't touch anything if you can't meet the price.
We can sell a couple of things that we've been holding on to. Or a lot of things, because we have a lot of stuff just here that we're not going to be using anyway. And keep a couple things though, like that backstab ring. The backstab ring is good. Sell that one. Okay. Does she have any bows for sale though? No, she doesn't. Of course not. And she doesn't have a backpack. She does have wine though. So that wine, you can end up purchasing it. If I remember correctly, you can end up trading it with someone for like a side quest. But you have to pick very specific dialogue options, and I don't usually end up doing that. So, but we'll get it just in case. Now a lot of the stuff I sold, if you don't have any of the DLC, you won't have any of that. So there's like almost no chance that you'll have anywhere near that much gold at the beginning of the game. At best, you'll have like a few silvers. You can probably get up to like 15 silver by this point, just by like pickpocketing people and selling everything that you pick up. So, something to keep in mind. This tavern is where we're actually supposed to be going. The person we're looking for is in there. But we're gonna explore a little bit out here first.
Arms and armor, like they were crafted by the Paragon Smith Branka herself.
Let's talk with Edimaro.
Do you mind? I have nothing you can afford, and as long as you're here, no one else will come.
So that's more of a typical attitude that you'll get from merchants towards castless. Who are you?
My name is Edimaro. I come down here twice monthly with goods from the surface, which you'd know if you could afford any.
You're a merchant. Why do you care? Why do you wear a castless face brand?
Same as you. It's illegal for me to walk here without one. I'm from the surface, so by the law of assembly, I'm castless. But I think of the brand as just a part of the license to vend my wares. I use a washable ink, and when I return home, it's gone first thing. I cannot imagine wanting to wear the beastly thing every day.
You think I chose to live like this?
You certainly don't choose to live any other way. If you were on the surface, you could open a shop, claim land, and start a farm, and get legally married by the human chantry. Orzammar is the only place in the world that will treat you like this. Yet you all stay. I'll never understand it.
So there you're getting a bit more perspective, and this guy's actually from the surface, so he has a little bit of contempt for all these people that refuse to go to the surface, even though it's a much worse life living casteless in the city. So you're saying I wouldn't be casteless on the surface?
There is no caste on the surface. Every dwarf there is a foreigner, so we all help each other. It always seems sad to me that our homeland is the one place in this world where you're likely to be killed by a fellow dwarf. Now, unless you're gonna buy something, I need to unload and get home before the rain sets in. That's water from the sky, by the way.
Can I take a look at your wares?
Fine, but try to steal anything and I'm calling the guards.
Now, that conversation can go way differently. It can end up going so poorly that he will not sell you things. I'm gonna grab that short bow. We have more dexterity, so we'll do a lot more damage if we're using the short bow than if we're using anything else. And I do want to be using a bow, at least for the most part. Oh, actually, let's keep the set bonus there. There we go. Una.
Watch yourself. The Shaper doesn't need your footprints all over his clean clothes.
I didn't touch anything.
We'll stand further back. I'm not going to risk my position by having someone see you near his robes. After my mother took 5 years of her personal time sewing fine dresses for the head maid at the Shaperate, Mother tells me they never considered a single other candidate when the position opened for underwasher.
If you're just a servant, aren't you casteless too?
I am not casteless. I am an honorable member of the servant caste. I serve my betters as is my place, decided by the ancestors who granted my mother my birth. I am not a criminal.
So that attitude, most people who live in the city of Orzammar, they consider all casteless to be criminals, period. So it's just another cultural item that ends up pushing a lot of the people who do happen to be born casteless into lives of crime. So it's like a cycle. What exactly does the Shaper do? So you can ask that, but that doesn't make sense for us being that we're dwarves. We would have heard about it by now. Now it's a little more understandable just because we're casteless that we might not have heard about it, just because we've been living lives of crime instead, or poverty. But I like to think that we probably would have heard of what a Shaper does. And in case you don't remember though, the Shaper are a bunch of historians basically. They keep the historical record of Orzammar. They record everything, keep it in a big vault, and they're some of the most revered people in all of Orzammar. They're actually, in many cases, more respected than the king. So. Alright, sorry, I'll let you get back to your washing.
As if I'd stop for you.
Well, she actually already did. She's just being contemptuous there. Now we can run up here.
Go back to your dirt pile, scum.
So, yeah, more animosity. So this is the main area. When you first enter Orzammar, this is what you'll see. You'll come in here. We can't actually leave though. At least not this way. There are other ways out to the surface, but you have to go through the deep roads and through tunnels and all that kind of thing. Let's go talk with these
I
two.
assume this pile of worthless junk belongs to you? Do you realize it's in the way and that the patrols will not be able to come through? Move it, or I shall have it thrown out in the deep roads, and you with it.
I'm so sorry, my lord, but they told me to move my goods over here. I couldn't even set up shop in my usual place.
Nonsense.
It's true. They said that the servants needed to polish the floors on that side of the commons in preparation for the new commander's first commission.
Yes. The new Idukan Commander's Feast is tomorrow, isn't it? I suppose it can't be helped then.
So that's a bit of a nod to the Dwarven noble origin.
Very well. You may leave your goods here for now, merchant, but move them out of the way as soon as you can.
So, in case you didn't get it from that, the Dwarven noble origin and this origin are basically taking place right around the exact same time. It's much in the same way as all the other origins, but it could be conceivable that the Dwarven origins, both of them, are taking place slightly earlier than all of the other origins, even just based on the time it would take to not only do all the traveling within this city, but traveling to the surface and going all the way from the mountains to Ostagar. Because the Ostagar happens around the same time every time. Now, if we could follow this bridge all the way at the other end there, that is where we go for the Proving Grounds. And down there you can see all the lava. I like it. Let's not disturb Barat yet. We can, but we're not going to. We're going to do what we were hired to do first. Alright, so there's the guy we're looking for, Oscaris.
The ancestors were smiling on my bets today. Another round for the house.
No castless.
Take a closer look before you say that.
Who the dust are you? Oh, my mistake. I didn't realize you were one of his. I'm not looking for any trouble.
Tell me if you know where to find a man named Oscaris.
Is that what this is all about? He's here, all right. Right over there. Been nursing that same mug half the day. Paid up front, though. Good silver. What's he done?
He made Barat unhappy. Bad idea for him.
I'll say. You do what you have to. Just try and keep it neat. I'm still paying for this space.
Okay.
They say the warrior caste is hosting a proving so the Grey Wardens can look for candidates.
Can a man drink in peace?
And so I shall.
Steal from the drunkard. Okay. Let's just talk with this guy, get it over with.
Hey, I was saving that seat.
That's real thoughtful, Oscaris. It's tiring work looking for you.
How do you know my name?
Did you think Barat wouldn't find out you're cheating him?
Look, I always been loyal to Barat. He's been good to my family. I know how much I owe him.
Save your excuses, Lesk. Search his bags.
My pleasure.
Wait, I do have some lyrium. It's just ore. I made a side deal with one of the mining families. If it worked out, I was gonna bring Barat his cut, I swear. I'd be crazy not to.
Suicidal, one might say.
How much ore did you take?
Just a little, maybe 25 sovereigns worth.
25 sovereigns?
Most of that's with my buyers on the surface. I just picked up a few nuggets down here. If I were to maybe give you a piece, that's a lot of coin. Could you forget to mention this to Barat?
So when they say sovereigns, they're referring to gold. How long have you been cheating, Barat?
Not long. I mean, I'm not cheating him. I mean, this is my first time. Oh, please don't kill me.
Who have you been selling to?
Surfacers pay good coin for lyrium. Mages up there, they use it for their spells. Smiths use it in enchanted weapons. I just took the money and ran. I mean, back to Barat to share the profits.
Bad idea. Lesk?
Could everyone who isn't about to die please turn around for a moment? This may be unpleasant. Thank you.
You can't do this. Help! Call the guardsmen! This is murder!
You two let me know if you need anything. I'll be in the back.
It's just a bunch of rocks. You're gonna kill me for that?
Sorry, Salaroka. Job's a job.
No!
Lovely.
That's it!
There we go. And he's dead. So, if you go through that, regardless of how you do it, you do have the option to end up keeping the lyrium for yourself and selling it to someone so you can get gold. You end up getting like 2 gold, I think. But by doing that, you're also cheating your boss out. It's still an option though, and there's many different ways you can do it. You don't have to sell it. You can have that guy that we were just talking with bribe you to go away without the ore at all. You end up getting a similar amount of gold. And there's a few other ways you can do it.
We have to get this stuff back to Barat before he starts wondering what we've been doing.
And we go into Barat's shop.
The king is old. His rule won't hold much longer.
Prince Balin seems far more sympathetic to our interests than Trian.
Balin has some tastes of his own that he knows I can provide. We'll finish this later. It's about time you two showed up. What happened with Oscaris?
He's dead. Here's the lyrium. And give him the nuggets.
Excellent. I'll send someone out to handle the cleanup. Not you, though. I have another job in mind for you.
Do I get to make some other duster cry?
Not if you know what's healthy for you. This one, I want you invisible. The warrior cast is hosting a proving today. All the best fighters, last man standing, you know the sort of thing. They're showing off for some Grey Warden who's looking for candidates to drag off to a life of eternal glory. Now, it's not often we get every named fighter in Orzammar lined up like that. And I have certain acquaintances who take an interest in this sort of thing.
So you're taking bets on the fighters?
There's a lot of coin to be made when people get the fever up. Favorite fighter's an officer named Minar, veteran of 4 Darkspawn campaigns. Evaird's a long shot, just got back from a deep roads offensive. Some young buck who has all the ladies drooling. I've got a lot of money riding on him. Mine and other people's. I expect to see that 8-to-1 pay off. Understand?
So how am I supposed to help Evard win?
The fight only gets announced to contestants themselves to prevent illegal gambling. So first, you'll have to find Evard, see who he's fighting and when. When the name Minar comes up, I want you to slip this drug into the bastard's water. It'll slow his reflexes, just enough to take the edge off, not enough to show. But it wears off quickly. so don't use it until just before his fight.
Alright, how am I supposed to get to Maynard's water?
He should have an alcove for his pre-fight preparations. All the fighters are provided basins of water. If you're asking how to sneak in there, you're pretty much saying you're no good to me.
What's in the drug?
I'm not asking you to distill it, just drop it into a basin. That's all you need to know.
It's poison. How do I find Barat?
He'll be in the fighters' quarters under the stands.
He's getting a bit irritated now. Does Barat know you're doing this?
He's the kind of warrior who wants to show off his oiled physique to a cheering crowd. You think he wants scum like us making money on him? Don't let him know what you're doing. Just find his chamber, see when he's fighting, then go to Minar and dump the drug.
Alright, we'll go right now.
You bet you will. Here's your pass to get on the grounds. The proving starts as soon as the clock strikes. And when I say I have coin on this, I'm not talking about some pittance, like the value of your life. If I don't see Averd's name on the winner's sheet, you'd better make sure I never see you or your sister ever again.
And so he's essentially threatening your entire family there. He doesn't care about the mum very much. But the mum doesn't care either. So this shopkeeper, that entire conversation, he was privy to. And if you've ever gone through and played this entire game, later in the game, you encounter this shopkeeper again. He's still the shopkeeper at that time, but he claims to not know anything about the crime syndicate that's going on in this area. He claims not to know anything about Jarvia, and Jarvia is the person who takes Barat's place after the events of this origin story. So Jarvia takes helm of the crime syndicate, basically, and starts running the operation. And we know from playing through, and like on any character this happens, but the crime syndicate, their lair, one of the entrances to the lair, is in this shop. And not only that, but this guy, he claims not to know anything about it, and he claims not to have anything to do with the crime syndicate, but he obviously does. Just based on the fact that he's sitting here while we're having this conversation. Now, let's talk to him and see what he has to say.
What do you want? I've got nothing for you.
Nothing. And then we can talk to Jarvia so we can introduce ourselves a little bit.
You ask too many questions. All you've got to know how to say is, "I'm mistress."
Who are you?
You don't recognize me?
You know Jarvia, right? Barat's favored lieutenant and the only person he trusts in all of Orzammar. You know that, Jarvia.
What exactly do you do for the Carta?
All you need to know is that I'm Barat when Barat's not here, and I'm getting mighty impatient.
Is it true you're sleeping with Barat?
I think it's way past time we were going. Just don't smile on you, Jarvia.
Get out!
So our buddy here, after he's let out and we go with the Grey Wardens at the end of this origin, he ends up becoming buddy-buddy with Jarvia. He becomes what Jarvia is to Barat for Jarvia. And I think we'll call it here for now, and then we'll do the proving next time. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next one.